2016, I think, I registered Fit4Racing because I was approached by Jonny Walker's manager. Jonny Walker, the Hard Enduro Red Bull athlete.
Yeah, I was researching that. That was one of my questions, like how do you meet him and get to work with him? That's cool.
So his manager from Manchester, they had a really good CrossFit gym down there with some really good athletes. Sam Briggs was winning the CrossFit Games. She trained down there. He was in that circle, so he understood the benefits of general physical preparedness and strength and conditioning. And I was local to Jonny. He was in Keswick. I'm in Penrith. It's like 12, 15 miles. And they came along one day, and I had no clue who Jonny Walker was. And ultimately, they wanted me to train him. I said, well, the best I can do, because I'm working a full-time job, is you can hop in classes, which at the time, on reflection, was a bad opportunity missed, let's say. But I didn't see it as that because I didn't know. A year later, so I didn't see him again. A year later, I thought, well, actually, this is when I read my marketing books and I thought, can I make it a legitimate business? Can I start training a handful of people to subsidize the income? And Jonny, so I'd already been approached by a couple of people, general population people. So I had 2 general populations. And then I messaged Jonny and said, oh, Jonny, I've now got availability to do one-on-ones. Do you fancy it? He'd moved to France for a year and he'd just got back. He's like, yeah, let's do it. Came in the next week, did 1 session. I didn't know what to charge or where it was going to go, but I got a message that night. He's like, what would you charge me for 10 sessions? So I gave him a price. What would you charge me for 20? What would you charge me for 40? He's a complete haggler. And I think he got me up to like 80 sessions in a bulk buy. I don't know whether he just got a sponsorship deal and loads of money in the bank and he needed to spend it, but ultimately he bought a shit ton of sessions. And I was like, well, this is fantastic. And then about 2 weeks later, he said to me, can I bring my friends? And, I want to do things differently from what you would normally see a PT doing. I'm not a PT. I've never been a PT. I've been a group class conditioning coach and now a sports specific conditioning coach. But ultimately, my time then, I was like, you can bring as many people as you like because you're paying for my time. You paid for that. And the way I saw it was it would be better to have more people training with Jonny than on his own because you get that camaraderie and, the competition.
The competitiveness. Yeah.
Exactly. So he brought Brad Anderson. So he was number 1 UK motocross rider. Jamie Law, he was really good as well. And they're all kind of locals around here. And Adam Brayton, I think he put a bit of resistance up to start with because he was a Strava addict and he's a workaholic. So he was on the road bike loads and he was doing conditioning or circuit classes, let's say. And in his words, he came one time and he said, as soon as I did that session, I knew this is what I was supposed to be doing. And, he hit it really hard. And I think Jonny was fantastic. He had to move to Andorra for tax reasons. So it was unfortunate that he left the scene and it kind of dissolved with other people. We got more and, triple around, but ultimately Adam became our staple. But when Jonny came, I had the idea because I had already followed programs by pros for CrossFit. And I'd classed myself as a decent CrossFit competitor where I was winning some national competitions. And ultimately, I saw the value in following a structured program for somebody that was accessible. But it took a whole year for me to understand Jonny, build a relationship with him and Adam and the other guys, for me to propose that I could do that for riders. At the same time, obviously, I didn't want to go straight in and say, right, I'm a mountain bike fitness coach after coaching someone for a couple of weeks. So that year of exploration, building trust, Jonny was like, yeah, go for it. So I had no clue what to do, how to do it. I took a month off work, built my own website. And
you do it yourself, this website? Because I was going to ask about website and app. Like, that's not
the
easy to
new
do, right?
website. So that was a progression. The original website, I built
Okay.
that myself. And ultimately, people were paying me through PayPal, and I was sending out PDF workouts to them at £45 a month. And I think in the first month, we got 10 people signed up. We got another 20 the month after. And I was like, well, actually, this is really good, because this is exactly what I wanted, was to be able to financially support a shift from full-time employment into something that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And what I found was I was sending out these programs to people that wanted individualized programs. And I understand that. But what I found was I was copying and pasting loads. And I thought, well, actually, damn, what if Steve talks to Bob and they're on the same program? Their needs are the same, but it's not individual. And I basically felt like a fraud. So I thought, why don't I just do a sports specific program? So we'll do hard enduro, downhill, enduro MTB. I emailed everyone. I said, we're going to make this shift. You're going to be on the same program as everyone else doing your sport. And after the first week, the response was fantastic. Like, this is way better than it was before. Even though I was doing specific things for their needs, a general program they were finding was better for them. And then it just developed, and it was then infinitely scalable.